Have you ever wondered how people around you in your immediate circle of influence really feel when you reach big goals? My name is Dave and welcome to Resilience Strategies for Dads. Now, on this channel, we help dads develop resilience strategies so that they can enjoy more health and happiness in their lives. And we're in the middle or at the tail end of our 30-day self-motivation challenge. We're on day 28, where over the past 28 days and 2 more days to come, we're going to be talking about different perspectives to help you become more self-motivated. And today's going to be kind of an interesting perspective because we don't often really think about the people in our immediate circle around us, how they feel when we achieve big goals, and where they might feel left behind. So if you like the conversation that we're having today, please consider subscribing, liking the channel, leaving a comment. Would love to hear about your experiences, your perspective. And let's just jump into it. So I want to start by talking about my first Ironman experience. I was so focused on reaching the finish line for almost over a year that I sort of forgot about how my activity, how my selfishness with my time was impacting everybody around me. And while in a way it's a good thing because I inspired people around me to go on to achieve greater things than they ever thought possible, at the same time, you have to realize that if you want that continued support from those people, you're going to have to give something back to them. Because the thing about doing selfish activities, sometimes it consumes the majority of your extra time and energy throughout the day when you're not working to achieve those goals. And sometimes those people have to sacrifice a heck of a lot of what they wanted to do so that you can realize your dreams, your goals. A great example of that is when I did my first Ironman in Louisville. My wife and my 2 kids, they came up along with me to the race. And on race day, I basically said to them, I'm racing. You guys go figure out what you're going to do on race day and let me know how it works out at the end. I'm racing. That was kind of a very selfish perspective. I didn't look into what and how they were going to enjoy race day. And I really didn't know. I mean, I was always a racer. I wasn't a spectator. Well, when race day came, my wife did a really good job of keeping her cool. And I mean that literally because, she didn't realize how little she was going to see me over the course of 14 hours. She didn't realize how sleep deprived she was going to be because of my schedule to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to eat on race day. And then, 6 o'clock in the morning to be there for 7 o'clock to start the race. It was a sleep deprived weekend for everybody. On top of that, while I'm out doing my race, my wife is trying to be the great supporter. She's dragging my 2 teenage kids behind her, and they had to take a school bus, wait in line for over an hour to get onto a school bus to go to the halfway point of the bike course. I had no idea they were there. When she got to this little town, it was like 90 degrees outside, smoking hot, and there were no stores in town. There were just residents of the town at the turnaround point with coolers with bottled water, sodas, beers, whatever, and they were charging exorbitant amounts of money for these things. They were, seizing the opportunity to take advantage of tourists who'd come into their town. And then she had to wait for over an hour again in the heat to get on a school bus to go back to Louisville to find a place to stand, to watch, to maybe catch a glimpse of me running by. And I'll tell you right now, she did an amazing, amazing job. But when the race was done, she was done with this. This was, you did your one and done, you're out, don't ask me to do this again. And I really stopped and thought about that on the way home because I had a bigger itch to scratch. This was just the start of my journey. And I was a little bit too nervous to tell her that because the raw emotion of what she had just gone through, trying to support me for over a year, be patient with me, be patient with my mood swings, my energy highs and lows, my tiredness, my shortness with people. These are all things that your immediate support group put up with to help you get to where you want to be. But then if you say, hey, I'm going to do that again, who wants to sign up again? Well, you might be surprised to find that not everybody is as excited as you are to do it a second time. And the lesson that I learned is that you got to take care of the people around you and make this as much about them as it is about you so that they can feel rewarded in everything that they're sacrificing to help you get to your finish line. So when we went to my second race, I could have done another race in Canada, but I didn't. I chose Ironman Cozumel because it was a vacation in November, just before Christmas. It was about 3 weeks before Christmas. Actually, I think the race I did was the first week of December. It's now the last week of November. Point is, I took my family to a beach resort for a week, and I said, this is your reward. I don't care if you come out and see me at all. Maybe come to the finish line to cheer me in, but you guys have an amazing day at the beach. And, that was an awesome experience for them. We had other friends come over from the mainland who were vacationing that day, join up with my wife and kids at the beach resort. And they ended up having a fantastic time on race day, and I had a fantastic time on race day. And it made it much easier the third time I said, hey, I want to do this again. I knew that I had to book something that was going to be a bit of a treat for my wife as well. So when we went to Ironman Mont Tremblant, I got a hotel room with a balcony overlooking the finish line so that if it was a rainy day, she could sit on the balcony and have a glass of wine and not be in discomfort. I booked her a day spa while I was out training the day before the race at the Nordic Spa in Mont Tremblant. And this was like the first time she'd ever gone to a Nordic spa, or I'd been exposed to it. And it was incredible. She came back gushing and raving about this experience, and we were excited to go back again the day after the race. And that's now become part of our favorite experiences. We try to go to a Nordic spa in Ontario or wherever we happen to be at least once a year. So what I've tried to do and what this story kind of tells us is that if you just focus on you and your goals, it's going to be really hard to rally the troops the second or the third time as you keep going on this experience. But if you reward everybody around you with a great experience, they'll have something to look forward to as well. So just try to be aware of the people around you and what they're sacrificing so that you can achieve your goals. So that brings me to point number 1 today, and that is you are not in this alone, right? Your immediate circle of influence, the people around you, are giving up their time and energy to support you as well. You cannot discount that, and you cannot underestimate how important that support is. Because if they're not there to support you, you're going to be less motivated to keep moving forward. But when you feel like everybody's on this journey with you together, it's really easy to stay self-motivated. It's really easy to get up on hard days because you know that all of these people are counting on you to have this great experience, but you've also rewarded them for all of their hard work as well, hopefully. Which brings me to point number 2. Your actions are going to inspire others. I can tell you that I have inspired a number of kids to go out and start triathlon. When I say kids, they were high school kids when I was coaching rowing. I've done triathlons now with 3 kids that I've coached in rowing. My wife has caught up to me in her daily fitness. She doesn't do triathlon, but she does HIIT workouts every single day after work for an hour after work. That is her routine, that's her commitment, and she sticks pretty hard to it. But the thing is, had I not started what I was doing, we probably would have been like our parents. We're both 58. We would have been kind of settling to sort of enjoy the end of our lives, if you want to call it that. Enjoyment is a very, very relative term or a subjective term because, yes, it's great to enjoy a bottle of wine, but it's not great to enjoy the physicality, the well-being that doesn't come with doing that every day. So if you're asking yourself why, when people get older, do their bodies kind of get flubby and they sort of get out of shape and things just get hard for them? Well, it's because they have no idea how many calories they're consuming. They have just zero concept of what they're expending and what they're taking in. And if they're not investing in their health and well-being, getting old is going to suck. So I've made a commitment to myself and my family and my friends that I'm going to be the leader. I'm going to be the person that inspires people to believe that they can do more than they currently believe. And then whatever they put their mind to, whether it's a 5K run or just better eating habits, I want to be the person who's there to inspire them and motivate them to help them figure out how to be self-motivated when it comes time to make a difficult decision. Like, should I stay in bed or should I get up and do the good thing that I was going to do? Should I have another glass of wine, or do I know that there's probably 300 calories in that glass of wine and I haven't done anything today and probably I'm going to be putting weight on because I'm not paying attention. I think the biggest thing that I've learned is that you can't, when you learn things about diet and nutrition that other people don't understand, you want to share, you want to help people, but the louder you scream and tell people what it is you've just learned, the more you seem to push them away because you're talking about a lot of their favorite things. So you've got to find a way in conversation to ask better questions that demand better answers, like, do you know how many calories are in a glass of wine? Not that you're having a glass of wine. Maybe have that conversation when they're not drinking a glass of wine. Oh, 250 to 300 calories depending on the size of the glass? Never realized that. Do you know how many calories you burn every day? Ask them the question. See if they know the answer. Pull out your cell phone. It'll tell you. Type in the question. You'll figure it out. All of a sudden you can start doing the math and say, when I figured that out, boy, was I ever shocked. I thought I was burning more calories than I was. I thought I was consuming less calories than I was. Holy smokes, it's no reason why I've put on 20 pounds. And the reason why I have put on 20 pounds on my body in the last 2 years is because I can tell you truthfully, I've not been paying attention to my diet. I exercise every day for an hour, but I have not been paying attention to my diet. I've been letting myself slip because, like all of us, I keep saying, yeah, I deserve it. I'm getting older. I deserve to be happy. But you know what? I also deserve health and happiness and everything in moderation. Problem is most people don't understand what moderation is. So if you want to learn how to enjoy more health and happiness as you get older, you're going to have to learn how to do the math on what's a good decision when it comes to food and alcohol and what's a poor decision. Choice is yours. I mean, nobody's telling you what to do. But if you want something badly enough, something's going to have to motivate you to do the right thing every day. And I've got enough of my whys as to why I want to be physically fit as I get older that help me stay self-motivated. I've got enough people around me now who also want to go on that path, that journey with me. And that's pretty exciting. That in and of itself is a huge self-motivator. And that brings me to my final point, that all ships rise with the tide. So the more you set the example for your friends and family that anything is possible, the more you go down this journey of learning and discovery, the more you actually look at the metrics, look at the details that your devices give you, do the simple math. And when you understand how to make better choices, how to look at food a little bit differently. Like I talked a lot about nutrition, or I do talk a lot about nutrition, and I had to explain, like one of my favorite places, there's a French cafe that I love going to for a coffee and a croissant. And I was overindulging quite a bit. And the other day I was talking to the owner and I tried to explain to them, well, things are going to be a little bit different. I'm going to come in for my coffee, but I'm not going to come in for all the treats unless I've maybe done a long run and it fits into my dietary budget for that day. And she looked at me, she says, what do you mean? Like that's nuts. Why are you limiting yourself? And I love her. I mean, I love her to death. And but the point is, food, there's not only is it calories in and calories out, but it's also fueling your body for the next 90 minutes. So when I think about fueling my body as an athlete, I haven't been fueling my body as an athlete for the last 2 years. I've been going through the motions. And I'm starting to ask better questions again of myself. I'm starting to learn again about how I used to eat when I was training. I'm starting to remind myself to count calories. I'm starting to remind myself what's a high glycemic food and what's a medium glycemic food. And I'm asking myself, when is it the right time? When does my body need this stuff? What do I need to have as a carbohydrate pre-workout in the morning? Why is it important to work out in the morning? What do I need to fuel myself in the morning when I'm exercising beyond 1 hour? What do I need to eat within 30 minutes as a post-recovery meal? When is it a good time to have the peanut butter, the sugar, the glycogen? When is it a good time for that? Is it in post-recovery? Yes, it is. And then lunch, how many calories should that be? How much protein should I be having? What should I be having with that protein? You can change the protein and the side dish up, but understand, what type of bread am I eating? How many calories are in that bread? I typically have, a chicken salad sandwich or a turkey salad sandwich that I've made from scratch on light rye bread with spinach as a sandwich along with a salad. That's 400 calories. I know that. So I use MyFitnessPal and I track all that. But here's the thing is the people around me, right? The people who are around me who are watching what I'm doing, they're saying, well, how do you track all that stuff? It seems complicated. Well, here's an app, MyFitnessPal. It's free. Check it out. Look what I do. See, I've done the homework in the beginning. I figured out how many calories were in all my favorite foods. I figured out what foods I want to eat every day. And then now I just copy from yesterday to today. I'm very sort of rigid about what I eat. The only thing that might change might be the protein source. So I'm basically eating the same foods every single day of the week at every meal. But what might change is maybe I'm having shrimp as opposed to salmon, as opposed to pork, as opposed to chicken, as opposed to beef, as opposed to tofu. You know, I can swap in and out of protein, and it takes literally a few seconds, and I can again see what my choices are for the day. But you know, it's like going to the grocery store on an empty stomach and being super hungry. You just start buying things that look good. You fall into the temptation of consumer marketing, right? And when you get home, you've got a pantry full of goodies, and you just start grabbing handfuls of this and handfuls of that because I'm hungry. Not a great strategy. You know, it's not. And you will find that you will be self-motivated to make better choices when you know the facts. And you'll find that the people around you will make better choices. Because I gotta tell you, it's no fun being fit and healthy alone at all. You want your friends to come on this journey with you. The thing is, all you can do is lead by example and not tell them what to do, because nobody likes being told what to do. But if you inspire them and demonstrate that this is possible to sustain, all of a sudden your friends want to keep up. They don't want to get left behind. I've got my guy friends, my male friends, you know, they're never going to admit to my face that you know, they want to try to keep up with me. But I'd like to think that I'm inspiring to chase me down, hunt me down, because, you know, we have this competitive edge amongst ourselves. We all want to be fit and healthy. But, you know, we want to enjoy our lives too. And that it is what it is. So you've got to find that balance that works for you. So if you've enjoyed this conversation today, and I hope you have, they're more honest than I think in the beginning of the first 30 days when I first started these videos. I'm really trying just to be honest with everybody and tell you how my perspective is towards all of these 30 different ways to become self-motivated. It is not easy. This is what I hated about going to see motivational speakers and being a motivational speaker or being considered a motivational speaker, is that when people leave, they might be inspired, they might be motivated in the moment, but the trick is, how do I stay self-motivated 2 days later or a week later or a month later or a year later when I get home? That's what this channel is all about, is helping you develop those strategies that you need to become more resilient so you can enjoy that health and happiness in your life. So we just finished day number 28. We got 2 more days to go. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about the fact that you are not alone in your struggles. What do I mean by that? Well, yeah, you're going to find out right here. See you tomorrow.